Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I think nobody knows that elections have consequences more than people in crypto. And now the city of New York is going to get to find out what their consequences are, and they're already finding them out.
Okay, y'all, I'm not going to lie. I did not think exactly this was going to happen. I thought this guy was going to win in New York City. I thought that our market was going to pick up. But I didn't think it was going to happen like the next morning. I'm like, okay, my sellers like settle down. I don't think they're just going to come, racing down and, from New York City. But it's, I don't know. I don't even know what time it is, 3 or 4 o'clock. I've literally been on the phone since 7 a.m., nonstop back-to-back calls. I had showings scheduled for listings that haven't had showings in a month. And yeah, I was wrong because it literally turned on like a light bulb, literally blew off like a firecracker, and the post-socialist New York City political market is here on our shores in Palm Beach. Welcome.
And then listen to what Eric Trump said
Everybody,
about it.
the problem is, so we're in Florida, obviously, right now, right? Ron DeSantis is literally going out right now saying, hey, I'm going to eliminate all property taxes in the state of Florida. And you know why he's able to do that? Because everybody from New York has moved to Florida, and all the wealth of New York has come to Florida. And they have such a surplus in their budget that they don't need people to pay property taxes. It's literally going to pass, right? They're going to put it through the legislation, versus New York, where you have a guy going out there saying, we're going to increase taxes on the few remaining people. And guess what? You know where they're going to come? They're going to come to Florida.
They're going to come to Florida. And then this was in the New York Post. Florida locals rush to buy homes over fears. New Yorkers fleeing Mamdani, is that how you say it? Mamdani, will flood the market. Well, guess what? XRP people, you're in luck because I partnered with the guys at Gulf of America XRP.com. If you go to Gulf of America XRP.com, you can join they have a free email newsletter where they send you out mostly beachfront properties on the Gulf of America down there. These guys cover all the way from Panama City Beach over to Pensacola, basically, but they can also refer you to places like Palm Beach as well. You can call them if you're one of those New Yorkers and you are sick of all of this. Call 850-890-8884, or if it's not imminent for you, you can just put your name and email address in, and they'll start sending you properties every Friday morning. I get these properties in my email every Friday morning. You can browse through anything until something catches your attention. Here's one of them that caught my attention. This is from this is a $410,000 1-bedroom, 2-bath in the Seychelles Resort. Let me blow this up a little bit. I'll just show you a little bit of this. There's the other side, and then this is the beach side. There's your $410,000 condo. If you're ready to make your New York exit, this is what you could get for $410,000. They have no state income taxes, and now, like Eric Trump just said, they're talking about getting rid of property taxes. Imagine how that impacts your wallet. And this is a nice one. It's got these set-in bunk beds, so you basically have 1 bedroom, but you have 2 bunk beds. It sounds ideal for kids, or as like a rental property, I would imagine. Look at that view. Pretty darn cool. And here's the outside. They've got a pool. They got I think I saw a weight room as well. It's weight room. So they got tons of amenities. So check it out, Gulf of America XRP.com, and you can sign up. All right. I wanted to play you this other clip of Brad Garlinghouse. This is him talking about the regulatory North Star that is XRP.
Panel about 2-3 years ago when you're in the middle of your lawsuit. And the moderator asked something that even I hadn't put together. He said that 19 out of the top 20 protocols in blockchain were physically located outside of the United States of America. And you were the only one, idiot, to be in the United States and being sued. I mean, I was like...
Or crazy like a fox.
I don't think we're an idiot, but there was a period of time, there was sad reality, and I'm sure Pantera has been one of the most successful investors in crypto land. But the advice I used to give some of the entrepreneurs you backed was don't incorporate in the United States. And it's not because we're trying to circumvent. Again, you had, I'm quoting Gary Gensler. By the way, now you're getting me riled up. I get all fired up about this. You had Gary Gensler out there pontificating about how the crypto is the Wild West. That is the furthest thing from the truth. The people I knew were trying to give us clear rules, help us understand those rules, and don't just sue us without actually providing that guidance. And so, it took a while, but we're finally in a happier place. And Ripple was fortunate to be in a position where we could fight the fight. We did think about just moving offshore and kind of saying to hell with our U.S. business. For 4 years, we were still based in the U.S., but during those 4 years, we basically didn't sign any contracts in the U.S. And we signed, scores of contracts with financial institutions overseas. Now, the U.S. is still the regulatory North Star for many Western economies, and so they look to the U.S. And so it hurt our business across Europe, less so in Southeast Asia and the Middle East. But it was a tough years.
It was, and actually, I want to point out for the audience that the U.S. government's stance on blockchain is literally the polar opposite of the rest of the protocols we call the internet, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. government literally built ARPANET and gave all kinds of safe harbors.
Al Gore invented it.
Yeah, Al Gore invented it. That was nice of him. But they gave, safe harbors in Congress, 8.25% discount for Amazon versus a real bookstore with, bricks and mortar. And all of the biggest internet companies in the free world are in the U.S., and they were scaring all the protocols out of the U.S.
You're preaching to the choir on this one. I still think they're going to be. This to me does represent the future of rewiring financial infrastructure. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's more auditable. Those are all things that the government should care about, and it's good for consumers, it's good for businesses, it's good for growing the economy. Why we had a period of time the U.S. government was anti these technologies makes no sense to me. But we're past it, and so we're entrepreneurs that build for the future. So
in building, you're doing a lot of M&A work. Could you share some of your thoughts on that?
So we decided kind of at the end of last year, beginning of this year, that there's a moment in time we thought Ripple was in an advantageous position. We were going to play offense with acquisitions. We've announced, I think, 3 acquisitions this year, the biggest of which was the largest non-bank prime broker called Hidden Road. Now, the Hidden Road does crypto and non-crypto activity, but if you want, I'm going to use generically, if you want the Citadels of the world to lean in and participate, you need counterparties and prime brokers that actually can service Citadel's needs. If you don't have those, then the Citadels of the world can't lean in at the scale. And Hidden Road was doing quite well, but their balance sheet, relatively speaking, was small to service some of the Jane Streets, some of the biggest players out there. Ripple has a big balance sheet, and since announcing that acquisition in, I think, May, we basically 3x their revenue run rate, which they were already doing quite well and profitable. And we're serving some of the larger customers, serving customers that already were more broadly, so that's going really well. We bought Rail, which is one of the largest stablecoin payments companies, kind of based out of Toronto. That was a deal we just announced in August, and we're working on a couple more right now.
Okay, so let me summarize here for you. At Swell, Brad Garlinghouse called XRP their North Star. Then in this clip, he calls the U.S. the regulatory North Star. XRP is the only digital asset with legal clarity in America, so that makes XRP American Digital Assets North Star. Get it? Got it? Now let's listen to Stuart Alderati at Swell.
Done. Talk to us a little bit about the doors that have opened and how the conversations have changed with some of the Wall Street giants like
Sure.
here.
So I think it's both in terms of, personally, Ripple's litigation with the SEC or the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple. That has ended. It was over in August of this year. We won in the district court. The SEC appealed. The SEC dropped the appeal. Done and dusted. We are over. And we're in a unique position because that litigation victory gave Ripple and XRP and the XRP ledger that we rely on in our products absolute legal clarity. That in and of itself puts us in a very unique position. With the change of the administration, though, we went from a war on crypto to a goal of making the United States the crypto capital of the world. So in terms of the 1-2 punch, the momentum in terms of our personal victory in the court, followed very quickly with the administration's commitment to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world, the momentum that brings is just tremendous. And I think that leads to the conversation, the financial institutions knocking on the door, our ability to engage in the M&A transactions that we've been engaging in. All of that could not have happened with both the litigation victory and I think the change of the administration mindset.
All righty. And then this is great. The ETF era of crypto, Matt Hogan from Bitwise.
Absolutely. We think there's demand for exposure to a large number of those altcoins. I think that you'll see assets like XRP and other major assets get their ETFs relatively soon. We've seen filings from the SEC, not talking about any specific filing, but we've seen those moving through the system. We're going to wake up in 6 months and investors are going to be able to use high quality, low cost ETFs to access the top 10, maybe top 20 ETFs. And then the next exciting thing beyond that is you're going to start to see ETFs that package those together in diversified exposures. Those index-based ETFs, I actually think could be one of the surprises of the market. I could think they could be, bigger even than the Ethereum ETF. So there is definitely more coming from Bitwise. We've entered the ETF era of crypto, and I think that's a very good thing for investors.
Okay, and then James Wallace here. I had missed this clip from Mr. Mann. Says that Ripple works with the Federal Reserve. Go figure.
Others was like the rise of other CBDCs. So I do work in the US. We work with the Fed, and we work with the academic, a number of universities that also work with the Fed. And the geopolitical impact of CBDCs is one of the topics that we've been working on. And when China announced the digital yuan, that suddenly made the Fed, the US Fed, wake up and go, oh, hang on a minute. This is scary because the dollar is still the primary currency for global trade, reserve currency, and if the digital yuan becomes widely used outside of China, that could be a threat to the dollar.
Okay, look at this. Kevin O'Leary's trying to tell you too, folks.
I love the idea of innovation. The money center banks have been sitting on their hands for years, crapping on the crypto industry, but it's not about Bitcoin. Nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's digital payment systems.
Who's been working on that longer than anybody?
That's the amazing opportunity we have here. Now, the reason that will be important and why we'll get price appreciation on Bitcoin is the minute that happens, it will signal the move to the next act, the Market Infrastructure Act.
I believe XRP is the next act.
And why that matters to everybody in this room is we will finally determine, is Bitcoin a commodity or a security? And when that is determined and regulated, Katie bar the doors, $1 trillion will come and index that asset. Let's all hope that happens while we're all alive here. Anyways.
Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. I got a lot more to cover. Go to DAIXRP.com is the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join below any of these videos, or you can subscribe through X by hitting the subscribe button on my X profile. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.